Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chop and Slice. I'm one of the co-hosts, Michael, and this is...
Brandon.
We are here to talk about...
The Conjuring.
Which came out in 2013. Got a lot to say about this movie. We're going to dive into it and give you guys our thoughts and opinions on it. And, so Conjuring, like we said, came out in 2013, directed by James Wan, who I think is a hell of a director. Who also directed Insidious and Conjuring 2. Let's get into it, Brandon. Some of your first thoughts on the initial scene with Annabelle, how it opens up.
Yeah, definitely some pretty freaky stuff. I'm not really too big into the Annabelle series. And first of all, I want to just say that I don't really believe in ghosts. I don't believe that this is a true story like they try to say, because I just don't buy it. But I kind of look at this as just another horror movie. I wasn't really too big into the Annabelle series, but the Conjuring series was pretty good. 1 and 2 were really good. 3, I'd rather not talk about that one.
And a 4th one has been confirmed, and I think they even released a trailer on it. So
you got that to look forward to. There's a lot of great movies we got to look forward to. We got Saw X coming out. That'll be great. But yeah.
Back to The Conjuring. I like the opening scene with Annabelle and the doll. It kind of establishes, what we're going to see. When I first watched it, I didn't know if it was going to be about the doll or what, but they kind of were setting up the Annabelle movie next. So after, you see who Annabelle is, what's going on there, they jump over to the Perron family, which this is a story... well-known, documented about this family being haunted, and they actually get haunted in the house that was on land of the Salem witch trials long, long ago.
And that's actually pretty cool. I thought that was a pretty cool little thing that they did.
And it, the events took place in 1971, so we see Ed and Lorraine, basically, they're demonologists. They're teaching classes. They're teaching what to look for and signs if you're being haunted, if somebody is possessed. They even show an exorcism they performed earlier. So all really cool stuff. Movie shot really well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was kind of cool how this married couple had, 5 girls? 4 or 5 girls.
Yeah, a whole bunch of girls. Which is crazy.
We see the dog. The dog ends up dying really quick.
Right, and the dog didn't even want to get in the house because it could sense that there was something...
Or something lurking.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was cool but I kind of like, if this is, the true story, it's kind of like a cliche how they're always using like the little girl as a conduit for the spirit, I can see her. We're best friends. It's telling me this and that. That gets kind of old. I felt like I've seen that enough in these movies, but I liked it. Overall, the movie was shot very well. Was it super scary?
It had a lot of scary elements.
On initial view, yes, but I've seen this movie a couple times and it kind of not as scary for me.
I'm gonna be honest. I've only seen this movie twice. I've seen it. I actually seen Conjuring 2 before I saw this movie. So after seeing Conjuring 2, I went back and I watched the first one. And thought it was pretty scary. Not as scary as the second one, but Before this recording, I went back and revisited it, and yeah, it's I think it's good. I still think the Conjuring series is better than Annabelle. Even Annabelle was pretty scary too, but definitely definitely pretty good. It's not a masterpiece or anything, but
What is cool though is it was produced by one of my favorite production companies, New Line. You know, they did Friday, Nightmare. Great. New Line cinema is great.
Well, Friday was originally done by Paramount,
but you know what I mean. Later on, but I felt like the two main stars of the film, Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, did great too. Those two on screen have great chemistry as Ed and Lorraine. I think they play those characters perfectly.
Yeah, I do like those characters a lot, Ed and Lorraine.
Yeah, Ed and Lorraine Warren, they are really good in this film.
I honestly think they are what makes these movies good, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and later on in the film when I believe when Ed is teaching the class, and you see, you know,
they were talking about like what leads to possession and things
that.
like that.
You see Carolyn Perron, the main star, the mother of the family. She's sitting in class, but it has a cool cameo of Lorraine Warren, the actual real Lorraine Warren in the class, which I just caught on, like, this is my third view watching this film. I just caught that, which was cool. I pointed that out to you, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's Lorraine Warren. Thought that was cool that they included her in the movie. Yeah, like I said, this movie is pretty good. I like the fact that it's based on the Salem witch trials, which I'm really into.
One thing I liked about this film too, I like how he kind of has like that basement that's got all those items that were possessed by some sort of spirit.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to keep them contained, and you just see like a whole bunch of items. Even has the Annabelle doll down there, which it's crazy how he keeps it all down there in that.
I believe it says positively do not touch. Which now they turn that the basement into a museum now, which is cool. After Ed died, which is cool. So yeah, this movie, it's very, very well produced and filmed, and I believe it was like kind of like the first of its kind. Like, yeah, we've seen paranormal movies before, but
and exorcism
and The Exorcist and stuff like that. But this brought it to like a different level.
Mm-hmm.
How it was filmed and everything. This movie has gained a lot of respect by even non-horror community.
One thing I really like about like just the Conjuring movies in general is most of the time they don't waste time getting going.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Yeah, there's a ton of action.
Roger and Carolyn Perron, the father and mother of the family, they moved in with their 5 daughters, and then pretty quickly in the movie, everything starts happening.
Yeah, things start happening right away. It doesn't waste
keeps coming off. One of the daughters, I'm not sure which one. I believe it was Christine.
And she mentioned that like something kept touching her foot.
Yeah, and then it ends up being the spirit of a witch, who's super evil, and you do see the witch in its own figure later on in the movie. Yeah, kind of crazy. A lot of it is pretty good. There are some parts of the movie where it's slow. A lot of dialogue that I could care less about. You know, they're just sitting there talking and talking and talking and talking.
Yeah, as far as dialogue goes, the acting was good though.
Oh yeah.
It was believable. It wasn't like
they actually you can tell, and this is a very nice detail they put in this film. You know, you can see bags under the eyes of the mother and the father. Like, they're not getting any sleep. They look so tired. a lot of detail is put in this film, and I kind of like the concept where their daughter, Ed and Lorraine's daughter, is living with them and stuff like that, which is cool. And you can see like how it's affecting her by living there. And when the Annabelle daughter escaped, you could see that like she's freaking out and stuff like that, and it's kind of crazy, just kind of crazy that they have all that stuff there with their daughter living there.
Let's talk about some of like the scary moments in this movie. I mean, what's a moment that kind of stands out to you? Like,
probably where I thought it was kind of creepy, where all that knocking and it just ended up being one of the daughters sleepwalking. It's kind of creepy how her head just kept banging.
Yeah, I'd be a little freaked out too.
Banging against the Narnia closet.
Yeah.
The wardrobe.
The Narnia closet.
Doesn't it look like the wardrobe from Narnia?
I guess
That's
a little
what it
bit.
reminded me of.
I thought it was kind of creepy when Lorraine was outside. She was talking to Ed, and she was right below that tree where that one lady hung herself, and then she looks up and just sees her hanging there.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
But he turned around and it wasn't there. That was pretty scary. Also the basement scene too, where she falls down there and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. But yeah. Anything else you wanna?
Well, just some information about the movie. The witch that is Bathsheba Sherman.
Bathsheba Sherman. That's how
who
you
apparently
pronounce it?
sacrificed her week-old baby to the devil and ended up killing herself in 1863 at 3:07. Now, 3:07 is the time all the clocks would stop in the movie. So that explains that. So Bathsheba ends up possessing Carolyn, the mother, and then the exorcism scene is very different from the original Exorcist movie in that
It's definitely more wild.
But like I think it was too extreme for my liking.
Well, that's how they always are. They're always like nowadays. They're just so over the top.
I definitely feel like they were trying to up it. I think I mentioned that to you while we were watching it. Like they're trying to take it a next step. And
I don't really think they were trying to take it another step from the Exorcist movies, because I have seen other like movies that have exorcisms in it prior to this one, where they made it all over the top and shit. I mean, there's so many. I mean, there was an exorcism that they did, I think, in that movie, The Unborn. They've done it in
The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which that was a great movie.
They did that Devil. I think it wasn't Devil. I think it was Devil Inside or something like that, where they did this exorcism, and it was just, yeah, it's always just so over the top. Well, let's kind of get into the plot of the movie. What their mission is. Like they're basically trying to gather evidence because they can't just get a priest.
Right. So they're just documenting what's going on in the house, which I thought was interesting with the camera angles and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. They brought that one police officer. They got to always have like a non-believer just to be there as a witness.
He was pretty good. It must have been a draft. I like that one where the door slams.
He was a big skeptic in the beginning, but then, became a believer once he saw all the stuff going on.
When he turned and saw that girl that had her wrist slit, and she was like, "They made me do it," and charged at him. He was like, "Whoa, holy shit!"
He also got tore apart his face by Carolyn when she was possessed. So I thought great film.
And then Ed himself does the exorcism.
Yeah, Ed takes care of the exorcism. I don't really remember why the priest wasn't there, to be honest. Because
the priest had mentioned something about he couldn't do it because they hadn't been baptized and they weren't like members of the church.
Yeah, but then he said I was going to push it through myself to do it.
And then just didn't.
And then just didn't. I don't remember why.
I think they were trying to get her outside. Remember? They were trying to get her outside, but then the demon was killing. But then why didn't the priest just go inside?
I don't think the priest was there, was he?
They were trying to get her outside to do the exorcism.
I thought they were going to take her to the church. Maybe that's what it was. I'm not too sure anyway, because this movie was slow, like I said, in some parts. And it did lose me at times. But, yeah, she couldn't get outside because she was getting cut, and the witch was going to kill her. So they had to perform the exorcism inside.
In the basement.
And, then she, like, started chasing her daughter and whatever,
And a lot of the stuff, I know Ed mentioned that a lot of the stuff really takes a toll on Lorraine because they did this one exorcism. She saw something and
which they explained in the second one, which was the nun that ended up latching the nun self onto Lorraine. So they explained that in the second, which I thought is cool follow-up, which makes sense. Yeah, and then in the end, everything is good. They saved the day, as always.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ed and Lorraine. What a team.
Yeah, I think they're a pretty good couple.
The chemistry on screen is great. Like I said, the acting. This is a big movie. This movie was huge.
I don't think it's quite as big as Annabelle, but I personally...
No, I think... Yeah, I don't know. This movie made $320 million worldwide. The budget of $20 million. So, $300 million plus. I'd say they did pretty good.
Really? Only a budget of $20 million? Wow.
Yeah. That, you know... 'cause usually on debut movies, in the, like, you know, the first installments, they don't always give it the biggest budget.
They want to see how well it does, and...
I'm pretty sure that Conjuring 2...
had a bigger
budget for sure, but it made a lot of money. And it was when I remember in 2013 when it came out, it was very, very popular. Everybody was talking about this film. I don't think it's as scary. Like, we can talk about some of the other movies. Amityville Horror, I would say it's not as scary as that one, the one with Ryan Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it's as scary as Insidious either. That movie creeps me out, just with the music alone. And then, you know, you gotta always compare this movie probably to The Exorcist.
My personal favorite movie, like, that's similar to this, would be Poltergeist.
Poltergeist is scary.
Yeah, Poltergeist is...
I don't know if it's as scary as this one, but Poltergeist is pretty scary.
Yeah, definitely a classic, too. Even the remake that they had a few years back, I thought was good. Well, it was more than a few years back, but overall, pretty good.
Yeah, and this movie spawned the whole Conjuring universe, which includes The Conjuring 2, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, which, yeah, we'll talk about that when we do the review, but first watch, that movie sucked. Sorry.
Horrible.
Annabelle Creation, Annabelle Come Home, The Nun, which...
I thought The Nun was kind of...
Yeah, I didn't like that either. And the Nun in Conjuring 2 is scary. But I don't know what they did with the Nun movie. And then The Crooked Man, which is currently in development, so we'll see how that goes. Then I believe Conjuring 4 is coming out. So, yeah.
I can't believe they're actually doing a Crooked Man movie like that.
I have no interest in that.
The Crooked Man's like not
and
even
La
scary.
Lorena that came out, which wasn't as good either. So this universe definitely has some hits and misses, but we'll see where that goes from here.
But you know what? This has to be... I can't really think of too many movies that have series within the series. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I do kind of like that, actually. It's like it's a series within a
And
series.
what's also interesting too is it's all.
Well, I
whether-
mean, there's the Marvel movies. I guess those are
Yeah, but
series
this
within
the
the
thing
series,
that
but
this thing has over the Marvel, whether you believe in these stories or not, they're still based on true events. Ellen and Lorraine do go to the Perron's family house. They did go in there. They did investigate, and they did perform an exorcism. Whether you want to believe in ghosts or whatever your true beliefs, but based on like the film, all this stuff did happen. Not everything, it's exaggerated and stuff like that. Conjuring 2, they only went to that house one time, which they exaggerate in the whole movie. But
of course, it's Hollywood.
yeah.
Right.
So, I just this movie was good, like I said.
And I do like that it's based in early 70s.
Yep.
That's a good era.
Takes place in Harrisville, Rhode Island.
And it's nowadays it's hard to make a movie nowadays that dates back in that time.
And it does feel like it takes place in the 70s. Like, they do a good job at, like, being accurate on, like, the clothing, everything like that. They did really good.
Mm-hmm. Just and also just the way people acted and the way they
One
they
thing I
talked.
don't like about this movie is, like, the stupid birds that came in at the end. Like, that's just
That
way
was-
too exaggerated.
I was like, did the demon possess the ghosts or the birds or
Birds, yeah.
yeah?
That part was a little confusing. But like I said, overall, watching this, I haven't seen this movie in probably at least 5 years. You said, you probably haven't seen it in, 10 years?
Yeah, well, not 10 years, because I saw it right after the release of Conjuring 2, which was 2016.
Oh, so you saw Conjuring 2 first?
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. I didn't see this when it first came out. Conjuring 2 was the first one I saw, and we saw it at the theater together, and then I went back home right after seeing it in theaters, and I went back home and I watched the first one.
Which one do you prefer? I know we're going to do Conjuring 2 later on, but...
Which do I prefer?
Yeah.
Conjuring 2, all the way.
Scarier.
Conjuring 2.
Yeah.
Conjuring 2 beats this movie in every way. I mean, that movie was just...
Acting
Whew.
and everything.
It was just, wow. That was some scary shit, and it was
great to see.
action-packed.
It was good to see in theaters, too.
Yeah, with the surround sound and
Yeah.
everything, it was so good. And I'm not big into this type of horror genre, like haunting and stuff. But Conjuring 2 was amazing. It was amazing. I loved it.
Like we said, this one was really good, too.
Yeah, it was good. Not as good as 2, but good.
They just upped it, and that's all there is. It's kind of like, I don't know, like Friday 13th is really good, but when Friday the 13th 2 came out, it was better.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah.
a better version of that movie. So
Yeah.
this is just Conjuring. Conjuring, like I said, is a good movie, and there's nothing wrong. I'm glad they made a second one. I'm glad they're continuing. Third one sucked, but who
It
knows,
is what it is.
I would like to see them do a Amityville Conjuring, even though they made legit 30 Amityville.
Yeah, I know, dude.
We're
There's
not
so
doing all
many.
those, dude. I don't care. But
We'll see. But yeah, there's a shitload of those movies. I can't even think of all.
But like I said, everything was filmed nice. The acting was great. It was scary for its time. It's not, after you see it a few times, it's not as scary, but the whole clap in the basement was cool. So let's get to the ratings. You give your rating first, Brandon. What do you think out of 10? And give me...
Why do I give my rating first? You always give the rating first, Michael.
We're going to switch it up.
We're gonna switch it up today.
Give me a reason why. Give us a reason why you think it's whatever you think it is out of 10.
I'm gonna go 6.5 on it. pretty much because it's an above average movie. It's just kind of, it's not a movie that I just kind of pull off the shelf and like, I just want to watch this movie. Everything about it was great though. Like we said, the acting, dialogue was pretty good, although it was drug out on time, so that kind of loses a few points with me. It's very plain at parts, I'd say, but it's fast paced. It gets fast paced and then it slows down. Gets fast paced, slows down. And like I said, I like that it's kind of based in the 70s. It's just like, it's like I would give it like a 5, but I feel like it's better than a 5.
Oh yeah, it's better than
it's better than a 5. So I'm going 6.5 on it. That's just kind of my reasoning.
Yeah,
Michael?
To me, I'm actually going to give it the exact same score, 6.5 out of 10. Like I said, the second one's just a superior film, and I really like the second one. So, it was filmed great. On all the factors, we usually just do an eye test for our rating. We don't put a lot, this and that, the comedy and all that BS. It's just an eye test, That's how we go off our ratings. This, to me, just feels like an above-average film.
Right. And sorry to cut you off, but another thing we want you guys to realize is we're obviously not professional movie critics. We just, we're just your average, horror movie goers, and these are just 100% our opinions, you know, and this is just what we think, and whether we would recommend it or not. That's all this channel's about.
This film. Definitely, it's a great film. It's first installment of a great universe. I just didn't think it was that scary. Had its moments, and I like to be scared during horror films, and there's some moments, when the box, look away, you don't want to see what's going to be in that mirror, but it was good. Won a lot of awards, Best Horror Film of the Year, which I don't know what it was competing with. IGN Summer Movie Awards, Best Horror Movie. And it got an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty good. We're not quite that high.
No. But that's actually very surprising for Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, and normally, especially for a horror film, on top of that.
But you could tell this movie was more of a critically acclaimed, the way it was filmed and everything. It wasn't... They definitely detailed great cast. So they definitely tried to make it critically acclaimed horror film. It wasn't just wrong turn thrown together with a crappy cast and, terrible dialogue. This movie had great dialogue, so... so I give it... that gives it an official Chop and Slice rating of 13 out of 20. Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Better than Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
guys, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah. I think we should just bring that up. If we ever did a horror movie awards, I think we might consider that at the end of the year. We could even do that for one of an episode or something, because the year is rounding up. Best and worst horror movies of the year. I think we could maybe do that.
Yeah, well, the Jeepers Creepers would be Reborn as a...
It'd be Halloween Ends, and then Jeepers... Well, Halloween Ends is the second worst, and then Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
Jeepers Creepers Reborn would be an award to give to the worst movie ever.
All-time decade. All-time century. Worst film in history.
It was bad.
Dude.
It was
I don't
bad.
even want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But,
what do you think? Is this a movie you recommend, Michael?
Yeah, I already said that. I recommend this movie. Like I said, 13.
I'd recommend it too for someone who hasn't seen it.
Go see the second one. If you want to see the third one, it's not as well done, but they were just trying to make money on the third one. But hopefully the other movies in this universe turn out to be a success. Like the Annabelle films, I really like all the Annabelles. I've seen them all, love them all. The Nun sucked, but who knows? Who knows where they go from here? But hopefully you keep Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as Ed and Lorraine because they are great on screen together. So yeah.
And before we close, I kind of want to give everybody a quick blow by of kind of what the future is for Chop and Slice. First of all, there have been a lot of things going on lately, so we haven't been uploading lately on our routine Mondays and Fridays.
The holidays coming up.
Right, with the holidays and, lots of stuff going on. But for now, we're probably going to be doing Mondays and every other Fridays going forward. We still want to keep content coming. We do have a top 10 list coming out. I want to make that announcement.
And possibly end of the year movie awards, horror movie.
Yeah.
Best and maybe do best 5, best worst 5. Possibly. We'll see. The end of the year is already approaching. If we release this will be released Monday, which will be after the year, but we can still put it out next week or something like that.
Yeah, we can do that. Or maybe we can push that to next year. We'll talk about it.
We'll see.
But we do have a top 10 coming out very soon, so it won't be just a movie review. But yeah, be sure to stay tuned for that. So anything else you want to add?
Yeah, guys, go like and subscribe if you can. And just keep being you guys. Enjoy the horror, and we're out.